Do you know that if you walk into a room of 9 other colleagues, more than 7 of you will experience a burnout if you all don't set boundaries in your lives? Now, there are a few areas where you need to create boundaries in your life. But before I go on, I'd like to tell about today's sponsors. Today's sponsors are BBD Consulting. They're a business and leadership consulting firm that has consulted for many companies and organizations within and outside Africa, like We for Change, which is based in Nepal. Their core focus is in the area of business growth strategies, executive leadership development, and career development. So if you're looking for a keynote speaker, or you wish to join their masterclass, or you're looking for a business consultant, please book a call with them on their Calendly, or you wish to gain access to their business and leadership materials, you can visit the link in the description. Now let's get right back to the video you are watching. There are 3 kinds of boundaries you need to set in your life, which will simplify your life and save you from a burnout. The first kind of boundary is mental boundaries. It's important to set mental boundaries because that will help you preserve your energy by limiting work-related overthinking outside of work. It also helps you to recharge outside of work. Some employees are falling into the trap of thinking about work outside of work. Leave work-related issues for only when you get to work. Don't spend your time thinking about work. On the other hand, employers do not have respect for employees' personal time. So it is on you to set the boundary that respects that. And you have to do it politely. Now, the second kind of boundary that you must set in your life is emotional boundary. Why is it important to set emotional boundaries? It is because some co-workers do not know how to keep any secret. Also, it's important that you mind what you share about yourself. You don't want to share things that will be exposed later and may cause you a burnout. A lot of the 70% in the opening statement of this video are women. And why is it so? It's because many do not know how to set emotional boundaries that limits how much the home stress will affect their work time, and also limits how much their work stress will affect their home life. One kind of emotional boundary you should set is constructive feedback. That is thinking about what you want to say before you say it. If you form the habit of thinking well before speaking and avoid unprofitable babbling, people will accord you the same favor. Other emotional boundary measures that you must adopt is compartmentalized and respectful communication. Now, for every piece of information that you give out, please understand that it may travel on its head. So you don't want to speak more when you should actually say less. Form a habit of saying the things that should only be said in the appropriate situation. Don't say more when you should actually say less. It's a form of emotional boundary measure that helps you from burning out. Now, the third kind of boundary that you must set is a physical boundary. The importance of setting a physical boundary cannot be overemphasized. If you don't, you may not like the outcome. It's important you set physical boundaries, even in your friendship and in your relationship. Not setting a physical boundary could lead to a burnout. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, my cousin gave his brand new green-colored Toyota Camry to a colleague friend of his who was getting married in another city. Now, at that time, this colleague had no car of his own, so he borrowed my cousin's car. Now, after the couple had wedded and were coming back, they were robbed and the car taken away. It was the first car my cousin had bought with his first few salaries. Now, imagine that kind of scenario. Usually, this leaves you with several thoughts that persist as scars. One thought would be, why did I give this man my car? Then a friendly voice in your head will say, but of course he's your friend. And then you reply, okay, I get it, he's my friend. What if I kept back my car and recommended a car rental service? Now, all of this back and forth is because he didn't set a physical boundary in his life. Form a habit of setting physical boundaries in your life. It will save you from a burnout. If you know truly that you would gladly bear the consequences of the lack of a physical boundary in your life, then don't worry about it. But if you can't, then you must create them in your life. Now, let's talk about how to create these boundaries in your life. Now, creating these boundaries in your life is important, especially if you want to improve your work output. Now, the first thing you must do is remove digital distractions. Keeping your smartphones turned off during work helps you. It keeps you emotionally and mentally separated from distractions that could drain you. Now, the second thing you must do is clarify with your superiors and your team about the most critical tasks. By clarifying with your superiors and your team, you gain a focused approach towards your task. Without clarity, most people lose focus, and when they lose focus, burnout is bound to happen. Now, the third thing you must do is keep work at work. Practice presentism, not presenteeism. If you're healthy and at work, then be productive at work. But if for any reason you're not at work, let it be known that you're not at work and let people stay away from your space. You don't want to get involved even when you're not at work for any reason at all. That may add to a burnout that you're already experiencing. Number 4, communicate your personal space preferences with your colleagues. You might be the kind of guy who likes his personal space to themselves. Communicate that. If you're the kind of guy who likes orderliness and you don't want your personal space or your table space used because that may result in untidiness afterwards, communicate that. If for any reason you don't like shoulder taps or body taps, communicate that. All of these communication will create a respectful environment for everyone and prevent a burnout. Number 5, reduce your interaction with toxic co-workers. Now, there are co-workers who can't keep secrets. You should know that by now. If you have worked in a certain space, know those kind of co-workers and respect their space. You don't want to meddle with them so much such that their toxicity overflows to you. Reduce your interaction with them. Number 6, delegate tasks when you feel overloaded. Sharing tasks with others, especially when you feel overwhelmed, can help you a great deal. Knowing when to ask for help is an important tool if you want to stay healthy and free from a burnout. There are a lot of people today who don't know how to ask for help, and it's because they have not been trained or they don't understand the ethics of work, that there are certain things you could ask for help, and that is simply delegation. Now, if you try these 6 tips, I'm sure you will get a good result in your life and in your work. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and also turn on your notification. Till I come your way next week. Peace.